Most difficult task for development and preparing. I think definitely for pre-production, the main thing was the script. Like
Yeah.
I think it went through about the script went through about 12 drafts. 12 drafts. Like I think the draft that took the longest was the first one. That took about 2 months. But yeah, it was definitely about a week's work for each draft. But that was for pre-production for the biggest hassle for that. The cooperation on the film was fantastic. Our film was about, it was majority first years. It's about how you work and how your professionalism, and these guys were great to work with. And with the costumers, this was my first time working with the costume department at BOSA, and they were fantastic. They were kept in contact, very professional, at our beck and call all the time. They were great, awesome. Like Taryn really killed it. She was the main costume designer. She was fabulous to work with. So. With equipment, we had more than enough access as usual. Like equipment's really good like that. Um, Locations was a bit of a hassle at first because we shot all around the university. Like we shot in Bosa backlot, which wasn't a problem. Murray's office, that wasn't an issue. Basically, anywhere that was Bosa related wasn't too much of an issue. That was fine. But like further down the university, like we shot at the walkway in Fur, which was a bit of a hassle to get, and the old Sportsplex gym, the old gym building, that was fine because it's the old one and no one really uses it, so that was fine to get. But I think our main issue was the hospital room. And we just had to make sure we weren't interfering with any classes, so we didn't want to barge in or anything like that. So we had to find a time and day to really um, suitably shoot in there. So, but just getting access to that room was a bit of a hassle. Um, the final location, like our hospital hallway, that was Birch fourth floor, and that was simple. Like as long as we were quiet, we could get it. But I would say our biggest issue was the hospital room. In the end, I could not be happier with my cast. The cast really killed it. They understood the story. Like they came in the audition room, they understood the story, they understood the character. Like Avril, who played Jasmine, the racist manager, like she was great. She came in talking about how she feels it's wrong what's going on with Trump and stuff like that. Like she really understood what I was going for. I actually gave some of the roles to friends already, but I had to cast Jasmine, so I casted Avril. I casted Kyle as Frank, and what got me about Kyle was he said he's starting off writing and he's just getting into acting. It was his eyes. Like he really had menacing eyes, and I really wanted to play around with that with the character of Frank because he's just this really menacing looking guy, and like he had the beard, the spiky hair, bigger guy. I'm like, you know what? I'm picking you. I love you. So, and then with Dave, I was just looking for this really gritty, dirty guy. So um, Jason came in and just blew me off the park with he blew me away with his performance. Like his first audition run through was, I didn't know what to say pretty much. Like he just completely got the character down perfectly. I'm very happy with how the art department turned out. Like Sean, who was the art production designer, he killed it. Love his work. With in terms of sound and camera, like with sound, just Laura, who was also Nurse Jody in the film, she was boom up, and then we had a sound mixer. I think we had a couple of different sound mixers for each of the days because people had to step in and stuff like that. Um, they were great. Like they knew what they were doing. They knew where to boom from. They were experienced. With camera, I had the great Lindley Redford be my cam op. So I had Melanie be my first AC, and then Prabjot in first year be second AC. And then I had a first year named Kama be a DOP. And it was great. Like I think how I preferred the most with this, I think I really enjoyed the one. I don't know. It's tough to say because basically my main interest that I've learned from my time here is I want to direct, I want to write, I want to produce, I want to act as well, and I pretty much applied all four to this film if you think about it. And But then again, like I didn't completely produce it. My good friend Trevor Schmidt, love the guy, really hardworking guy. He took the role of producing and LM, and he had a lot of weight on his shoulders, but he did a fantastic job. My producing part came in because I actually used a lot of my own money for the film, and I helped a little bit with the locations and stuff like that. I would say, I don't know, like I really like directing and acting. Yes, I'd do it again at the same time. I would do it again. It's very tiring. Like each night I came home exhausted, basically. But you know what? I loved it. It's good skills, I guess, to really take on that challenge of being the boss and being the boss and like behind the camera, being the boss in front of the camera kind of thing. But I would have to say, I would say directing and acting were my favorite thing about the film. That's like, that's a great question because I can honestly say I never felt better, honestly, because like I walked in first year just wanting to act, and I had no experience in the camera. I had no experience in like directing or stuff like that, or sound or lighting, even whatever. And through the 4 years, I've really grown, and now I can really say that I've had experience in directing. I want to be a director. I've had experience in producing. I want to be a producer. I want to write. I've loved writing since I was little. But like I've done some lighting and some sound, but like it's great to have that experience too. But that's not what I want to go for. But yeah, I still remember shooting my very first film in Studio C in second year called Alicia. It was about that also was like an Indian film. Like it was about about a wife being beaten by her husband, which is a major issue in India about abusive husbands to their wives. But yeah, like I didn't direct in first year. I wanted to, but never got the pitch. So I found second year tech arts a great opportunity to do that. And that actually led me to directing my second film, Making Waves, for the Project 2 for second year. And we actually shot in Studio C again, and the crazy Thomas Kelly, he made the bedroom in Studio C a hospital room, and the set looked great. So, but yeah, and then in third year, I directed my third film, Not Meant to Be, which is about the myth of Eco and Narcissus. And I shot that all around Cap, basically. Like I shot it, well, actually not even around Cap, it was around Bosa. Like I shot it inside, outside, and yeah, it was a non-dialogue film. It was a lot of fun. The cast was great to work with. I like working with people I've worked with before, like an auteur, like because having a good relationship with them is important. So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then my fourth film before Ranvir was a 7-minute short film titled Samir, which is about, and that was my first time experimenting with being the director, being the actor, and being the writer as well. Because like I did that film in preparation as a research project for Ranvir. So I wanted to play around with the same theme of don't give up on yourself and go for what you want and take a chance kind of thing. But I put it in a different context. So instead of it being go for it to try and save the ones you love and just achieve what you can, instead I put it in, I put it as a mute guy trying to ask his crush out and just gets totally rejected, and he just becomes like this really upset guy. But then he meets a girl in the park, and they get along well, and they end up together. So really that film was important for me because that was my first time experimenting with directing and acting, but that was with a smaller crew. Like we had about, I think it was like 7 or 8 people on that show. And with Ranvir, that's the challenge was how do you direct and act in a larger crew, basically. And I felt that this was a great experience. Like I love how it turned out. Like this was a great experience because I still want to direct and act at the same time, but then now I know what it's like to be with a larger crew. But then you get out there, you have like a crew of hundreds. You know what I mean? So starting off small and work your way to the top, that's how I see it.